Level 1. The recruit. You're sitting in a plastic chair in a military processing office on a Tuesday morning that smells like floor wax and burnt coffee. You filled out the paperwork 3 weeks ago. You've been waiting since 0600. It's now 0900. A staff sergeant with a flat face and a coffee stain on his sleeve calls your name without looking up from his clipboard. You stand. He still doesn't look at you. You are 19 years old. You weigh 174 pounds. You ran track in high school, and you've been doing push-ups in your bedroom since you were 16, because something in you always knew this was coming. You don't know exactly what this is yet. You just know that whatever the hardest thing available is, you want it. You've always wanted the hardest thing. You don't know if that's courage or damage. You won't figure that out for years. You sign your name on a contract that commits 4 years of your life to the United States Army. The staff sergeant stamps it. He hands you a copy. He tells you to report at 0500 Thursday. He goes back to his clipboard. The whole thing takes 11 minutes. You walk back out into the parking lot. The sun is bright and ordinary. Nothing looks different. Everything is different. Basic training is not what you expected. Not because it's harder, because it's more boring. You expected a crucible. What you get is a grinding institutional machine that processes human beings the way a factory processes raw material. You wake up before the sun every day for 9 weeks. You run until your shins feel like they're filled with broken glass. You do push-ups until your arms stop being arms and become something mechanical. You eat food that tastes like cardboard was given a government contract. You sleep in a room with 40 other men, and the smell never gets better. The drill sergeants are not monsters. They are professionals. Their job is to find the point at which you quit and then push you past it. Every morning they find that point. Every morning you go past it. This is the only thing that matters. Not your times, not your scores. Whether you quit, you don't quit, you graduate. They give you a beret. Your mother cries. Your father shakes your hand with both of his. You stand at attention and feel something you don't have words for yet. The word, it turns out, is belonging. You didn't know you were looking for it. Now you found it. Now, you need to prove you deserve it. Level 2. The candidate. You volunteer for Special Forces Assessment and Selection, SFAS. 24 days in the mountains of North Carolina that exist specifically to destroy you. The cadre don't yell. They don't motivate. They observe. They write things on clipboards and say nothing. You carry a rucksack that weighs 65 pounds through terrain that doesn't care about you. Your feet develop blisters that become wounds, that become scars that will still be there at 50. The land navigation is conducted alone. No team, no partner, just you, a compass, and a map in the dark, finding points in the woods that nobody else can see. You get one wrong on day 4. You stand at the wrong coordinates in the rain at 0200, and the silence is absolute. And you understand, for the first time, what it means to be completely alone with a failure. You fix it. You move. You find the point. You keep going. The attrition rate is around 60%. Men who were excellent soldiers, men who ran faster and lifted more than you, walk into the cadre tent and voluntarily withdraw. They call it VW, voluntary withdrawal. 2 words that mean the exact same thing. I am done. You watch men you respect say those words. You watch them hand in their rucksacks. You watch them walk to the bus. You do not follow them. You are not sure if you stay because you are stronger or because you simply cannot find the words to quit. Either way, you stay. You are selected. The cadre member who tells you does not smile. He tells you to report Monday for the Q course. He walks away. You stand in the North Carolina dirt in soaked boots and feel something large and quiet move through your chest. You will learn later that this feeling has a name too. It's called purpose. You have never felt it this completely before. You will spend the rest of your life chasing it. Level 3. The student. The Special Forces Qualification Course is 18 months of becoming someone the regular Army doesn't train. You pick a military occupational specialty. You choose Delta, Medical Sergeant. You spend months learning to keep men alive in places where the nearest hospital is a helicopter ride away. And the helicopter might not come. You learn to start IVs in the dark on a moving vehicle. You learn surgical airways, needle decompressions, tourniquet application in under 30 seconds. You study anatomy with the focus of a medical student, but the timeline of a soldier. You practice on mannequins, and then on live tissue, and then on each other. And by the end, you can look at a wound and know within seconds whether the man is going to live or die, and what you can do to change that outcome. You also learn language. Pashto, because that's where the army thinks you're going. You sit in a classroom for hours with headphones on, learning the sounds of a language that has nothing in common with English. Your instructor tells you that fluency is not the goal. The goal is enough to listen, enough to build rapport, enough to make a man in a foreign country decide that you are someone he can trust. Language, your instructor says, is a weapon. You treat it like one. You graduate the Q course on a cold morning in December. They pin the Special Forces tab to your shoulder, and the long rifle flash above it. You look at it in the mirror that night. It looks exactly like you imagined. It feels completely different from what you imagined. Not smaller, heavier. The tab is not a reward. It's a statement of what is now expected of you. That weight never comes off. Level 4, the operator. Your first deployment is Afghanistan, a small FOB in a province that most Americans cannot find on a map and have never heard of. You are attached to an ODA, Operational Detachment Alpha. 12 men, your team, your family for the foreseeable future. The work is not what the movies show. 70% of it is relationship building. You sit on rugs in village elder compounds and drink tea that is too sweet and too hot. You listen more than you talk. You ask questions about harvests and water and security and the names of children. You are building something called trust, and it builds the way concrete cures, slowly, and only if the conditions are right. The other 30% happens at night. You move in darkness through terrain that wants to kill you, independent of anyone shooting at you. Mountains at altitude in full kit, temperature swings of 40 degrees between day and night. You hit compounds, clear rooms, detain targets, collect intelligence. You do this with a precision that regular infantry units cannot replicate, because your team has trained together for months and you have moved through so many practice structures that your body knows what to do before your mind catches up. You are shot at for the first time in the 3rd month. A PKM opens up from a tree line and the rounds crack past you so close you feel the displaced air. You return fire. You move. You flank. The engagement lasts 11 minutes, and when it's over, the tree line is quiet. 2 of your team members are checking a downed fighter. You are standing behind a rock with your heart doing something it has never done before. Your hands are completely steady. You notice this. Your team sergeant notices you noticing. He says nothing. He nods once. That nod is the most meaningful communication you have ever received. Level 5. The team sergeant. 4 deployments later. You are 31 years old, and you feel 45 in your joints and in your eyes. You are now the team sergeant, the most senior enlisted man on an ODA. 12 men answer to you. Their competence is your responsibility. Their mistakes are your mistakes. Their lives are something you carry in your chest every time you brief a mission. You have developed a specific kind of seeing that civilians don't have and cannot acquire without paying for it the way you paid. You walk into a room, and in 3 seconds, you know where every exit is, who is facing the door, what's wrong with the space. You drive on roads, and your eyes catalog every pile of debris, every parked car, every man standing in a place where there's no reason to stand. You cannot turn it off. You have tried. It doesn't turn off. One of your men is killed in Helmand on a Tuesday. An IED on a road you had cleared 48 hours earlier. He is 24. He has a daughter he has met twice. You are the one who has to write the initial report. You sit with the form in front of you for a long time before you write anything. Then you write it. You do not cry. You have not cried since your 2nd deployment. You are not sure if this means you are strong or broken. You suspect both answers are correct. Level 6, the Black Ops. You are recruited into a special mission unit. You cannot say which one. You cannot confirm it exists. The selection is separate from anything you've done before, and the men who run it make your Q course cadre look patient. You pass. Of course you pass. Failing is not a language you speak anymore. The missions are different now. Smaller teams, tighter intelligence, Targets whose names you will never know because they are referred to only by code. You operate in countries that the United States is not officially operating in. You do things at 0300 in buildings and cities that will never appear in any after-action report, accessible to anyone without a clearance level that most generals don't have. You become very good at a very specific thing. Moving through human environments without disturbing them, entering spaces, acquiring what is needed, leaving. The entire philosophy is subtraction. The goal is to leave no evidence that you were ever present. Some nights you succeed completely, some nights you don't. The nights you don't are the ones that live in you permanently. You receive a commendation for an operation in a country you cannot name, for an outcome you cannot describe. The citation is classified. The ceremony is in a conference room with no windows. 7 people attend. You shake hands, collect the paper, fold it into your jacket. You drive home. You eat a sandwich. You watch television without seeing it. You sleep for 4 hours and go back to work. Level 7, the mentor. You are 38. Your knees require cortisone twice a year. Your left shoulder dislocated so many times it now has a casual relationship with its socket. Your hearing has a high-frequency gap from too many unsuppressed shots in enclosed spaces. The docs tell you the field is done. You accept this the way you accept most hard things, without visible reaction and with considerable private grief. You are assigned as a trainer. You take candidates through a version of what made you. You watch 22-year-olds carry the same rucksacks through the same mountains, and you see yourself with a clarity that wasn't available when you were them. You were afraid the whole time. You just refused to let the fear determine the outcome. This is the only thing you have to teach them that matters. You are a hard instructor, not cruel. Hard. You do not pass men who shouldn't pass. You do not soften requirements because a candidate is likable or because the unit needs bodies. You have seen what happens when men who aren't ready go to the places where only ready men should go. You will not be responsible for that. Not once. Not ever. Your best student leaves your program and ships directly to a deployment that goes badly. He comes home. He's changed in the specific way that people change when they've been somewhere that cannot be described to people who weren't there. You recognize it immediately. You buy him a beer. You don't ask him to talk about it. You just sit. Sometimes that is the entire job. Level 8, the broken veteran. You separate from service at 42. 23 years. The paperwork takes less time than you expect, and the final out-processing has the same institutional fluorescent indifference as the day you enlisted. You hand in your equipment. You shake some hands, you walk to your truck in the parking lot and sit in it for a long time without starting it. Civilian life is a foreign country, not hostile. Strange. People talk about problems that you cannot make your brain categorize as problems. Traffic, a delayed delivery, a difficult conversation with a coworker. You listen and you nod, and somewhere behind your eyes is a man who has watched people die and carried them and written letters to their families and slept in the dirt of 3 continents. That man is very quiet in civilian company. He has nothing to add to these conversations. You don't sleep through the night anymore. You wake at 0300 with your body already moving, scanning the room, establishing threat, cataloging exits. There is no threat. There never is anymore. Just your bedroom, your sleeping partner, the ordinary dark. You lie back down. You stare at the ceiling. You wait for morning the way you used to wait for exfil, with patience and without certainty. The VA appointment is 6 weeks out. You fill the time with structure because structure is the only thing that held you together for 2 decades, and you don't know how to exist without it. You run, you lift, you make the bed the moment you get out of it. You eat at the same times every day. From the outside, it looks like discipline. From the inside, it looks like the only alternative to coming apart. You find a therapist. It takes you 8 months to admit you need one. She is patient and very good, and she does not flinch when you tell her the things you tell her. She says, "You did what you were trained to do in the context you were given." You say, "I know." She says, "But you haven't forgiven yourself for it." You say nothing. The silence. is an answer. Level 9. The ghost. 5 years out. You live quietly, a house with land around it. A dog. Work that involves your hands and produces something tangible. You fix things, build things, problems with visible solutions. You chose this deliberately. You had enough of problems you couldn't see. The men from your team still call. Some of them, the ones who made it through whole or close to whole. You have a group chat that is mostly silence, punctuated by a photograph or a single sentence every few weeks. When someone in the group needs something, nobody asks what it is. They just show up. This is the most functional relationship model you have encountered in your life. You go to the funerals. There are more of them now. Not combat, the other kind. Men who made it through everything the enemy could do and then came home and couldn't survive. The quiet. You stand at grave sites in your best suit with your hands folded and you look at the flag. You feel a grief so specific it has its own temperature. You coach youth athletics on Saturday mornings. The kids don't know anything about you. You are just the coach who shows up early and runs the drills with precision and never raises his voice. One of them asks you once if you were in the military. You say yes. He asks if you were a hero. You say, you knew some. He seems satisfied with that. You are not. Level 10. The cycle. It's a Tuesday morning in October, early. You're drinking coffee on the porch and watching the light change. Your joints ache in the cold, and your left ear is ringing at its usual frequency. Somewhere in the back of your mind is a list of men whose names you carry and will carry until you don't carry anything anymore. You are at peace, not the peace of a man who has resolved everything. The peace of a man who has accepted that resolution is not the destination. The destination is just the next day, and the next, and the carrying. You read a headline on your phone. A new conflict, a new theater. The language of necessity, the language you spoke for 2 decades. Somewhere right now, a 19-year-old is sitting in a plastic chair in a military processing office. He ran track in high school. He's been doing push-ups in his bedroom since he was 16. He doesn't know exactly what he wants. He just knows he wants the hardest thing available. He is about to sign his name on a contract. He has no idea what that name is about to cost him. He has no idea what it is about to give him. He'll find out. They always do. The cycle begins.